Alex Chemmer over here at Movements for Life. Our next restorative segment is going to take us to the lat. The lat is a huge connector or bridge from the upper body to the lower body. So the lat, as it inserts into the humerus and makes its way down through the ribs and into the rib cage, it actually anchors to your lower back. So restricted lats are expressed a couple of different ways. So it's anchoring to the pelvis. A lot of times with overhead, we'll see it where the low back starts to arch out. So the inability to be able to stay tucked, it might not only be a hip flexor or a hamstring type related issue, it could be more coming from the upper body with the lats. So overhead positioning could kind of guide somebody into that thought process a little bit and start kind of digging into the lat in terms of its influence. So to foam roll into the lat, couple of different variations. So kind of by default, to get into the lat, just put the armpit right on there. I keep my top leg nice and straight, and what I can do is I can actually use this leg to lift my hips off of the ground if I need to put more pressure onto the lat. And from here, I'm just gonna start kind of making my way towards the pec a little bit. You're gonna start rolling over some serratus, and you're gonna start getting into the obliques as you start getting a little bit lower. Word of caution, the last two ribs that we have are floating ribs, meaning they do not attach to your sternum. So be careful when you start rolling down there. So the lowest we'll go is the bra line, or if you're a Seinfeld watcher, the bro line. That's about as low as you'll want to go. But just start making your way from the lateral line, roll forward slightly towards your pec, and then start making your way back, so towards the posterior aspect, and just see what you find. Just like all other areas, I'm going to sound a little redundant, but just see what you can find in terms of tissue tension, knots, things like that. If you find something that's really gunky, just kind of hang out on there. So this first posture, my arm is overhead and really kind of lat heavy. As I kind of tweak it a little bit, I can kind of almost hug myself with one arm, and I could get a little bit more onto the teres, which fascially connects with the lat. They run in the same kind of angle, so they are both very much involved in a lot of the pulls that you do. So just another variation, just to put the arm in a little different posture as you start making your way down there. All right, so lat, again, huge connector, a lot of different dysfunctions, not only with that overhead positioning, but anything that has an attachment to the scapula is going to get influenced by, well, what's going on with the lat? If the lat is restricted, and think of if all those different muscles have that common attachment via the scap, and if the scap is posturally sitting in a different posture, then all the other muscles have to be influenced by that. The lat also is influenced with, think about our daily life. So a lot of us are chair-borne, that T-Rex posture when we're all typing and working, it's also going to be involved with the lat. With the pecs rather. So this really kyphotic, internally rotated shoulders, well, your lat also internally rotates as well. So it's not just a pec issue. If somebody is really hunched over and really internally rotated, the lat can do that as well. So static posture, what is the position of somebody's arms? Are they standing with their thumbs really turned in or really internally rotated? Pec and lat is going to be something you're going to want to get into. So don't dismiss the effect of the lat on some of that upper body poor posture position that is going on with all of our chair-borne society that we have going on. So look into that, see how that works out for you. It can definitely be really, really, really tender. We've done variations where we've gone from foam rolling, we've done some more cross bowling in there as well. Definitely a lot more aggressive. Less a lot of times is more with a lot of the soft tissue, because you should be able to relax while you're doing it. If it is too aggressive and too painful, you can actually create the exact opposite. So it should be tolerable on a 1 to 10 scale. If 10 is like, you know, gonna wanna punch you in the face, you should be hanging around at maybe a 6 or 7, depends on your tolerance of pain. But your indicator is, can you still stay relaxed in the muscle that you're rolling while you're doing it? If you're guarding it and contracting, then it could be too aggressive. You either need to regress down, or if you are using a more aggressive foam roller or a lacrosse ball, then make it a little bit easier so that you can relax and get the benefit out of it, which is to make the tissues more pliable before you start doing all your mobility work. So enjoy that one. If you have any questions, don't hesitate.